Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. Hello, Rodrigo, Gabriel.
Hello,
Hey
so many
everyone.
people.
This is super
Yeah.
exciting. Look at that. We've got both co-founders of Langflow together in the same room. This is probably first time we're doing this live stream with both of you in here. So this is going to be super exciting. Awesome. All
Sure.
right, so we've got about more than 200 people who are going to be joining. So I see already there's a lot of excitement in the chat room. Folks, if you guys are hearing us, just type in where you're joining from. We just want to hear which part of the world you're joining from. And in the meantime, while we're getting that, Gabriel, Rodrigo, this is exciting. Langflow version 1.1 is out, and I tested it. I've been playing with it. Amazing. So many changes. I mean, just from the UI starting point all the way to each component to the usage of that, everything is just amazing. Wow, look at that. So we've got folks from Florida, Poland, India, Oakland, Munich. Wow, look at that. Brazil. So yeah, I think just across the globe.
Really
Amazing.
nice. Yeah, really nice. I love to see it.
Awesome. Istanbul, Ireland.
Munich,
Awesome.
Serbia, Portugal, Florida,
Yeah.
Ireland.
So that means people can hear us and can see us. So this is amazing. We'll just give a quick briefing of the platform in case people who have not used this before. So on the right side, you'll see if you're joining from your computer's desktop or web browser, then on the right side, you have the questions that you can post. So the first tab is chat, where you're probably chatting from. Second is the questions. You can post any question and we'll bring that up on the screen. So we have that available for everyone to see what we're answering. Third is polls. We might probably not have any polls right now, but in case, that's where we're going to have the polls. And those are the three tabs that probably you're going to be using throughout. And if you're on the mobile, then probably it's going to be a bit different. It's probably going to be at the bottom. So yeah, with that, we're going to get started. So Rodrigo, Gabriel, we've talked about the journey, but wanted to hear from both of you what led to this version and what are the exciting new things that both of you think are in this version compared to before. So Rodrigo, we'll start with you.
Nice, nice. Hello, everyone. Very good to be here. A lot of people joining and joining right now from across the world. So, really nice and proud from this new version. It's been a lot of teams together to get to this point of Langflow. We reached, I think we're over a year and a half with Langflow from the moment we started. And this version, honestly, this is the biggest release we did so far. It's bigger than 1.0. It is a complete change. There is rebranding. There is a complete design and visual change across the entire platform, and a completely new way to use and explore agents. So I'm personally super excited. I was using Langflow the other day, this weekend, and I got goosebumps when I started to see like the power that it's going to enable people to do. So I think this is the result of a lot of hard work from so many engaged and excited and passionate people, and putting all that together, we get something that is really unique, and I think Langflow is getting there. So thank you all for the collaboration. I think we really appreciate the feedback that we get from you, and tips, feature suggestions, bug reports. We have this great community on Discord, and people are engaging and participating, and we're gathering all of that and trying to merge together to build what is going to evolve this space and create value for everyone. So thank you everyone for joining over here. Hopefully this will be a great conversation, and yeah, super excited with the new Langflow 1.1.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that the first look and feel, I think right away you're just like, wow, this is amazing. So yeah, Gabriel, what are your
Mhm.
thoughts?
Oh, well, uh, just see this. It feels like a dream come true, right? Me and Rodrigo has been talking about how the way it looks right now is 10 times better than what we ever thought about. But we always thought of all of these that we made it the way we wanted, right? So it looks and feels a lot more than what we could be doing alone, right? So a lot of the hard work and the team, the UX designers, the UI designers, they just took it out of the park. You know, it feels great now, and like on the under the hood, right? There were a lot of cool changes as well. Some features that we're planning on adding that are going to give a lot more power to the developers, and I'll even maybe show some of it, or just a tiny bit of it, but it will just give you a glimpse of what we're planning on doing, right? What's this release? What doors this release opens, right?
Awesome. No, this is going to be super exciting. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of hard work that went in, because every time I'm playing, there's something new that comes up, and from all the way from UI all to debugging, error handling, messages, logging, just every aspect of it. So for folks, just a quick overview what we're going to cover. We'll talk about some of the major changes that happen. So if you've heard about the use of agent or multi-agent tools, what's available right now in Langflow, that's one super exciting topic. So Rodrigo is going to cover that, and then from there we're going to look at some additional things that you could use in building with Langflow, and from there we're also going to look at some of the I would say not known features. So some things that that will come in handy with development. So if you're building apps, so if you're using Langflow API, or if you're just building any tool within Langflow editor as well, these tools will come in handy. So Gabriel is going to cover those, and from there, I'll talk about just going from an idea to building an app with Langflow, and go over one of the apps that was recently built. So yeah, with that, Rodrigo, we've already got a few questions. I think we'll cover that in a minute. Maybe those are going to be covered by one of you in the presentation.
Yep.
So Rodrigo, how about maybe some of the most exciting major features that came out with this version?
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't we go through, we just have I just released an article about, let me share my screen, about the new version of Langflow and the features that we're adding over there. And maybe I can share my screen and go through that article, and we can talk about some of these features, right? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is, for those who don't, let's share this link, Misbah. Maybe they want to take a look at the article. So
perfect.
This is Langflow 1.1 release, and I think we can start by talking a little bit about the intention behind Langflow and why. So we're changing a lot. You all saw that, like, if you see the video, if you go already and into the DataStax website, the cloud version is released as well. So if you're gonna look into anything, you're gonna see we changed a lot, right? We changed design, user interface. We changed multi-agent. We added stuff like tool mode. We added agents that call other agents in a better orchestration way. We have a new, smarter, better playground, a better templates categorized by use cases, methodology. So many new stuff that we're adding to this, and I think it's nice to cover a little bit of the why, the reasoning behind what we're trying to do, all this, and most importantly, I think where we want to get, right, where we're heading towards with this new version of Langflow. And I think it all comes down to the reason why we began with Langflow as a whole, which is Gen AI development is complex, is hard, right? Different from traditional development, where you have your source code, you make a mistake, you see a bug, you go into the function itself and you tweak it, you change it, right? With Gen AI development, you don't have that. The main function of your entire system is a black box, is an LLM model, right? So the idea here is, how can we enable folks to tweak the inputs and make this interactive development, even though a part of your system is a black box, right? It's the LLM. It's a complex system that you won't access the inner workings of it, right? So basically, what we're trying to do when we are doing the LLM development is we tweak the inputs, we tweak parameters, we change a prompt, and we try to see the output coming through a little bit different. And we adjust that, and we try to control what is coming out, and we want a lot of interactivity on that, right? So I think this is the major reason why we are moving towards with Langflow, especially towards multi-agent orchestration and architectures, because this is sort of becoming the mainstream and state-of-the-art way to perform these operations. How can you have a lot of control with human in the loop, with these systems being very, very controllable? And multi-agents are becoming the state-of-the-art for that. And you may ask, why multi-agents, not a single agent? It's literally because a single agent is much more error-prone than multi-agents. With multiple agents, you can control what goes into which one of the systems. You can have different models coordinating specific parts of the system. You control more efficiency, you control a better accuracy, and so on, right? So I think this overall is what we are, the reasons behind the changes that we're making. And where exactly we're going is, yes, we're positioning Langflow as this agentic first platform. Okay, so the idea is, one, introduce a new component, which is the new Langflow agent. We're going to cover that in a minute. Second, we are adding a lot of enhancements to the component capabilities and the features around this agent to enhance this entire new sort of environment for agentic pipelines. And finally, we are adding a lot of flexibility, simplicity, and quick ways for folks to get started with, right? To make this development, AI development, as simple as possible. This is sort of where we're going with Langflow 1.1, and that comes with a lot of very, very cool and super good-looking new features, right? And starting with a fresh look from the redesigned user interface, right? This is great work by the UX UI team and DataStax, and we have an entire article on that. So I highly recommend the ones that are interested on seeing what is behind how the new Langflow was designed and so on. We have an entire article by Simon and Jonathan on the UX team and DataStax, and we have like new logo, new brand, new entire like ways that components and the entire platform is designed, information architecture, how the depth and the easiness of access of each one of the parameters and buttons was redesigned. So take a look at this article as well. I'm linking that in my article for the release, so you just can look over here. You're gonna see a lot of cool changes that are just related to design, right? The new brand, new logo, right? All cool stuff. And by the way, a completely new website as well, right? So if you entered langflow.org and check this out, this is just beautiful. I got impressed yesterday when I saw it for the first time ready. And this is super interactive. You're gonna see Python components in the Python code over here. Change every one of the parameters. Look at that, Misbah.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, actually, I need to visit. This is just beautiful.
Yeah, and you can even tweak the components on screen, right? So
Oh, wow.
up top there's a component. You can
Yeah, it's amazing.
change the parameters. It's top
Wow.
notch.
No, really nice. I mean, I already see some comments, people saying that, you know, they're loving the design, so this is awesome. Yeah, no, I think definitely the focus on agent and the potential of that, there's just, you know, huge potential of using that. So yeah, Rodrigo, you have anything that you want to share from the editor, how it looks? You know, a few things that I noticed with the agent right away was that first thing, you drag and drop agent, you can use many different providers in there. You can, guide the agent for a particular thing or system prompt or so. You can use the agent as a tool, which is really cool. I mean, I use that for many different things. And then in addition to that, the whole orchestration, it was done really nice, because I gave an agent a command saying that, okay, if such and such happens, go to this tool, and such happens, go to this, right? And it follows really nice. So I'm not sure what happened in the background, what all changes you made, but it's working really, really nice.
Yeah, I think the major changes here with the new Langflow agent are before you'd had to use a couple of components together to create what this new agent has by default, right? So you have an agent with inbuilt memory, right? It has the model selection and provider selection within the component itself. Plus, it has the agent instructions or system prompt right off the bat over here, and you can at the same time see every one of the interactions that this agent is doing. What that means is complete control and complete visibility into the reasoning of the agent and tool usage. So you basically everything that the agent is doing, the actions and so on, are being recorded into the logs, and you can see that directly in the playground. Right. So I think this is it. Provider model selection, agent instructions, traceable agent, and for those who don't know exactly what an agent is basically this reasoning machine that is capable of accessing external tools. Right. External tools can be anything, like a API, accessing your email, posting something, or accessing a database and doing a post request or something like that, or sending an SQL a request or something like that. And then right now we said, yeah, we need this core component called the agent that is going to do everything in a single component, right? Put it on your screen, plug a tool, and you're ready to go, right? Nothing else. And for making this much more powerful, the idea was to extend the environment of components around it. And what this means is making other stuff behaving as a tool, right? Langflow has a lot of inbuilt tools that we provide in the tool category in the sidebar. But now, if you want to convert any component into a tool, we have this new slick feature, which is the tool mode, right? So any component that is a traditional workflow component can now become a tool for agents. You click that button, tool mode, you're going to have the outputs of this component becoming a tool set. And this tool set can be plugged into the agent, and the agent can now use it in this agentic way, right? You wanna change the way that agent is going to access that tool, change the description of the tool, right? The agent will know when to access that, right? And then together with the tool mode, you can already imagine that, okay, if you can convert any component into a tool, that also means that agents can become tools, right? And this is super cool. You can convert an agent into a tool for another agent, and you begin to have this sort of super simple orchestration with tool mode, right? Agents call a couple of components. This same agent becomes a tool. Orchestrator coordinates different agents doing a lot of interesting actions. And these actions, the name of the agent, the model that the agent is using, the tools they are using, are all printed and in a very nice way in the playground, right? This is the visibility that we're adding to this part of the equation. So collapsible elements to the playground that are going to make it super visible and easy to debug what is going on. So what parameters did your agent send to the tool? Like, is it reasoning? What did it do? What did it get back, right? And what was the response in the end? So in the end, I think these are the three main pillars that we're changing. It's the new agent right now. Second, the tool mode. And third, the new playground. Plus the entire redesign and new experience with Langflow with a lot of more stability and efficiency as well. Langflow is much faster, much better to use, and so on. That's getting better at each new version, and you're gonna see like new 1.1.1, 1.1.2, and so on. So you're gonna see more improvements as we go. And finally, Misbah, we have a lot of templates as well for people to get started, right? And we're categorizing them. We have 3 getting started experiences, right? Number 1 is the basic prompting, learn prompting, how you can use like variables and so on. Second is RAG, and third one is the simplest possible agent for you to get started. And use cases, we have a lot of templates by use case and a lot of templates by methodology, meaning you want to experiment a technique. And let's say something like chain of thoughts, right? Go to prompting and try to see if there's something over there. You want to try RAG stuff, go to RAG session. We want to try different agent architectures or different ways to use agents. These are some sections, and we're going to add many more as we go. So if you anyone has ideas for new templates, please share them with us, and these will be super welcome. We want to hear from you, like what are the ideas for templates, what you'd like to see, and we're going to add them to the templates and make sure that this is going to be increased in volume like by a huge amount in the next months.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that, Rodrigo. The whole template section is really nice. There's so many examples, because many a times, we're starting, we just want to get an idea how things work together. So folks who are just starting, just browse through the template library. There are many different use cases already available. So probably that you could use in your particular case. Awesome. So that's on the top level. It's just really exciting. Gabriel, what are things that you think are less known? Maybe things that a developer working with Langflow might use and might come in handy, like maybe logs, messages, error. Also, some of the tools. I think there's a question in there about Crew AI. Are those components still in there? So maybe, yeah, quick run through some of those. I think, Gabriel, you're muted.
Sorry. One of the changes we did to allow us to improve the playground like we did was building many features around the messages, right? So the Langflow has this messages table where we store messages that can be used for chat memory or just to analyze the data afterwards, right? Maybe build some experiments, change the message to see if how the model behaves based on that, right? And because of that, we then started seeing that we could improve how all of the data that the messages have, right? Right now, they basically can have, they used to have a text, some piece of text, and maybe some references to some files, maybe images. And now they have pretty much all of the look and feel of them as part of them, as part of their metadata, right? So what icon should they display? What is their display name, color? And I think maybe to showcase that, I can later I'll show some example here. But one of the coolest features for me is the event stream that we built, right? So normally you use streaming to interact with LLMs because sometimes it takes a while, and having that data pouring in real time helps you understand the process, you debug the process, right? So what we did is we created an event source inside the custom component that allows you to send messages to the UI, to the playground in real time, right? So this is already really cool, right? Maybe I can share my screen here and quickly show an example. Let me see.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Meanwhile, Ms. I see a couple of questions over here. Francisco is asking if we are ditching Crew AI. And the answer is a no. We're not ditching integrations at all. All we're doing is we're adding our own way to use agents, right? And that doesn't mean integrations are gone. And it's the other way around. Like we have the bundles session right now. You can see Crew AI over there. You're gonna see LangChain. You're gonna see all of those nice integrations that we want to keep improving and getting more of them. Like just trying to organize better what is core components. So you already see, like in this Gabriel's screen, you already see on the sidebar the core components above, and then we have the bundles, which are either integrations or components that follow a same structure or purpose, right? Grouped together. So no, not ditching Crew AI. Also see a question from Raymond talking a little bit about why the logo changed. And that was a long time desire from myself and Gabriel. The little chain does not represent exactly what Langflow is. The chaining is not the only thing that LangChain does. It's much more than that. So we moved into this sort of digital flow style. The blog that I just pointed to on the Langflow Reimagined has a lot of information over there, and you're gonna see like the reasoning behind the sort of new Tokyo cyberpunk style of the colors and why they thought about that and the decision and reasoning behind everything. So check it out.
Awesome.
All right. I just saw that we hit 35K. That's nice, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might have been through the last night. And just to add to what Rodrigo said, what probably is going to happen to Crew AI and other agentic frameworks is that they most of them allow for others to integrate in a callback system or event system, right? So what is going to happen is that we're going to improve the experience inside of them as well. So Langflow agents, LangChain agents, Crew AI agents, and all the others we can work on and the community works on are going to be elevated through these systems we're building, right? So we're building the developer tooling for not just for our components, but for any components to be built upon. And this is a simple example here. What I'm going to show is the events system through a very simple example of a component I built that updates the message in real time on the playground, right? So I'm going to quickly show the code here just to very simply show that there's not a lot in here. I just picked a list of icons that I wanted to show, some random message, and a progress bar. And with that, I'm gonna show real quick. So one of the things I added to this component is the ability to wait a bit for each event to be sent to the UI, right? If we deactivate that, what we get is something like this. Let's say Langflow 1.1 is out. So we get something instant, and it's not very useful, right? To show the events. Now, if we do this, we're going to get some delays between each of the events. So let's say just hit 35,000 stars on GitHub. And now we see that for each event, we see a different icon. The progress bar updates a bit. The text gets pushed out just a tiny bit more, and that's a very simple case, right? But here is just to show that for each iteration, we are sending new data to the front end, right? And updating a specific message on the playground. So this is essentially what we're doing with the agent, right? The agent creates a message then that message is added to the table, right, to the message table. So we can update this message. We can change the text just like any other message here. And we can, and then the agent will keep adding. Okay, so I called this tool. This tool had this output. Oh, this tool raised an error. Now I'm calling this other tool. And for each one, we'll get new updates, right? And one other thing that's very useful is, for example, let's say I added something like, let's say instead of I, which should be I wrote J, right? So I was expecting that to work. I then said something like, Langflow has errors in the playground, and then it's going to find that error, and I'm gonna get a pretty error here instantly that tells me that something is wrong with my component, right? So all that, and of course, we still have the outputs here in full form with more details on what could be the problem. And yeah, that's quite a bit. So why this is cool, right? So changing things in the UI, of course, this is cool. But the most important part here is that we're building something, and this is just the beginning of it, right? So the event manager that we're calling will be able to send arbitrary events to the front end. Right now, it sends events to the playground. Later, it could send events to a component on screen. Maybe I could have an agent here that builds a component on screen and writes the code for it in real time, right? Why not? We could have agents that adds tools, but and by the way, not just agents. I can have just one component that is a tool that the agent can use, but maybe a component that can do anything, can change the names of my flows, can interact with the UI, right? Change settings, add global variables, anything. We could pretty much build anything. And that comes,
So
of course, it's pretty good, right? Go ahead. Oh,
no, I'm just gonna ask you in out loud so that you explain to everyone. This means that the interaction between the back end and the front end is in real time now, and it wasn't before. Is that correct?
yes, it will get even more in real time, right? Right now, we're just streaming events from the backend to the front end. Pretty soon, not too long in the future, we'll have bi-directional communication in real time. Now, another important part of all this is that, okay, this is useful. I get a bunch of events on the playground, but now I'm building my own application, and I want that data to be used. I want to use all that data that the front end is getting. I want to see that. I want to maybe, even though I don't, let's say the backend sends 100 events. Maybe I just want to grab 20 of them that are I don't know, the size of or sorry, the color
Yeah.
of the messages that we're displaying and stuff like that. And it's fine. What we're going to build now is the same API or a very similar API that the UI uses to stream those events. It will be available to the developers as well, right? So you will be in a very soon, right? In a future version, you will be able to use those same events. So you'll be able to create a uh, maybe a different experience than what we show. Maybe you wanna just show our events in a different way. It it will be yours to just define what events do you want to keep, right? And furthermore, you can, for example, create a tool that sends an event. So instead of waiting for the agent to finish up, let's say, a generative UI element, maybe you can say that the agent will send, the tool will send that event while the agent is doing other things, and
Wow.
your application will get that instantly, right? You'll be able to have a lot more dynamic integrations with Langflow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I to raise a point here, why I think this is so powerful as well is because we're now talking about real time back end, front end, where the back end for an AI platform is Python, right? And Python drives the most powerful AI machine learning data science libraries out there. So you can imagine how you can stream stuff like in the future, like backpropagation of a model or something like that. You have a complete visibility in the front end of what is happening in your Python code. And plus, you have custom components to define this kind of stuff within the custom component itself, which is recursive and
Hmm.
crazy, right? So this is super,
Yeah.
super exciting. I think we have a couple of questions, Misbah. I
Yes,
see, I
sure.
see some asking about REST API calls, and I think this is a great one for Misbah to take because Misbah has been creating a couple of very cool applications with Langflow. So
Yeah, no, I mean that's a very good question. So the question is that, can we use REST API calls to call flows in Langflow? Yes. So there are quite a few options available. I'll quickly share my screen and talk through that. So once you build a flow, the usual kind of way I go about it is just test it out in the playground. And then once you test it, then you know that it's working in Langflow. And then from there, you can call the API. So now this is a self-hosted version. I'm just running locally. And then I see the option of API on the top right. And with that, now you see the details. So you can take the curl command as is. So people who are using some of the tools like Cursor or Bolt or other platforms where you can just provide some documentation, you can just give this API, this curl command, and then also say that, okay, this is from Langflow. A lot of these tools, what I've seen is they know the response format from Langflow, so they'll build the whole thing for you. So most likely it'll just run in the first go. So this is basically it. If you're running locally, of course, you can have an application like in Cursor. It'll connect with your backend, which is going to be Langflow. If you are running or building something which is online, tools like Bolt or so, then you can actually use the DataStax Langflow, the hosted version. And it's free for you to use. Same thing, the platform is going to look similar, and then you can get the API from there and use in the application. So while it loads, I'll probably share it here. People who are familiar with Python and are building with Python, there's an option to go to the Python API as well, copy this code, and this should work in your application. Same thing with JavaScript, there's that option as well. There's also Python code option where you can extract this flow as a JSON and then run it over there. So a few different options. So just give it a try through this, and most likely you'll find what you're looking for. Great. I think there are a couple more questions I noticed. So maybe I'll just throw it at both of you. Whichever question you want to pick. So one question is about the response. So Syed mentioned that the response turns out to be more of a summarized nature rather than given it like a word length or the response length or so. Any tips over there?
I don't think I understood correctly. What do you mean the response? Is that the API response?
No, I think just general response in the playground or API. I think the question is, the response seems to be summarized. If we want to extend or make it bigger, shorter, or a specific length response, right?
Oh,
How can that be done?
okay. So that is those are model parameters, right? So you can define the maximum amount of tokens for some of the models, and most of them actually. But the response really depends on the model like some models tend to talk more, like the O1, while others, like the GPT-4o and maybe Claude, talk a bit less, right? But it it really depends on your prompt. If you want the model to be more specific and more detailed on its response, you should add maybe a system message or add it to the prompt that, and it should improve on that.
Yeah, and also remember that there are some configuration parameters that tell the model to spit out the output with a limited number of chars or tokens. So make sure to check the controls of that model or agent, because there might be some parameters over there as well that may help you, right? Otherwise, I think prompting may get you a long way already. So. Misbah, what you think about we just go through the platform itself and show a little bit? I think we just have 20 more minutes.
Yeah, perfect. Let's do that. How about you want me to just quickly run through one of the examples and we look at some of the features?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, awesome. So I'm gonna share again real quick, and a lot of folks ask about how to build with Langflow. So first thing is just experimenting, and then second is taking that, building an application which is user facing. So the usual thought process, or the way, at least what worked for me, I just want to walk through that, and along the way we can look at some of the cool new things in here, right? So first thing, what I would suggest is, if you have an idea, for example, in this case, something we shared recently, this is a newsletter agent. The goal here is that I want my AI agent to research about a topic, get the most interesting articles, summarize it for me, and then include the images, include the links, and then just email it to me, okay? So it's a lot happening. If you are using just chat applications out there, probably you're not going to get all of the functionalities, from researching to getting all the links, images, to emailing it to you. And also maybe you could add a few things, right? So that's where I'm like, okay, I can build this in Langflow. So what we can do here is that we are starting with the first aspect, which is to gather data, right? So that's where you're going to look at maybe what are the options available. We see that there are some bundles here that can help you get data. So example, could be that I want to get from a URL. So Firecrawl could be one of those, where I can crawl some websites, or I can just scrape some data from there. It could be some documents. So maybe I want to take it from unstructured, where they have this loader which can pull from multiple documents. It could be a repo, so a Git type of loader can help in that case. In this particular case, it was not in the bundles, so not an issue. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the possible options. So I know that there's an API out there that I can call, and that is something that I can search. It's going to be the API loader. So if I search, then I get, there are already some tools available here which can pull in data. If it is something that you can utilize, great. If not, then you can just bring in something like this API request block, right? So this is exactly what we have here. And then we just configured it to add the URL, configured it to change the method, add some headers. So if you have dealt with APIs before, it's pretty much the same. It's just that it's a nice interface where you can just provide some info and then kind of go from there. So now we have that. Our agent is going to be the key thing next, where we say, okay, for this particular agent, we want it to take the info that we get from the previous block, and then based on that, summarize. So now you see that we have the same agent block. I mean, we changed the name. Of course, you can change the name. This is also one of the features, right? You can give some descriptions, so someone who's using after, they can benefit from the documentation. Also, the stickies over here, they look quite nice, so you can add that as well here. So now we have that agent, which is gathering all the info, right? Next, I want to take that info and then make sure that we have that in a format that we can also send as a newsletter, right? So we have this orchestrator which is doing all the work, but before that, maybe I'll quickly show the other agent. The instructions here is saying that, okay, you have all the information together, you have some links, everything included in here. Based on that, just generate an email like this. And this documentation, let's say if you're building a newsletter, those providers, they're going to have this type of code for you. Or you can just ask in a separate flow, just a usual chat to an LLM and ask what should be my format. So all of this could be something that you can easily get the data. Sorry, go back here. And then based on the instructions, now we say, okay, just email it to a default email, or just the provided email address by the user. And how do I email? That's one of the tools also available in here. So Composio, Compose.io, they have many different providers. So Gmail is one of those where you can just quickly add your API and then go through the list of apps available here, and you'll notice there are a lot of those. And then quickly load Gmail, and then based on that you can choose to send the Google, and then from there we know that okay, the emailing aspect is completed, so this agent is now complete. And then we have an orchestrator which works wonderfully. I mean, I was really surprised how well it can take the instructions, although the instructions are minimal, very high level. But then it knows that, okay, it has to first take the topic, and then it knows that it can use the tools, and those tools are going to help to send email. So this is kind of, just quick walkthrough of what building a simple multi-agent application looks like, right? So this is one part. Now, someone asked about the API calling. Again, I took the API, I took the, the documentation available, asked one of the tools. So in this case, something like Bolt or Cursor or any of the providers out there. And I said, okay, help me build a UI. And then what happened is it came up with a nice UI, and the connection is using the API command that we saw. And once we, give a topic and email address, then we see that it came back with, really nice looking newsletter that we can now email, or it should already email to the user. So that's kind of, just overall, there are a lot of bundles available here. So these are providers or integrations, those were already here. There are a lot more things in here as well. So definitely recommend you to go through these and see which one works for your particular use case. Smaller things as well. I mean, something that I like is just you have a very nice visual understanding of what connects where, and like, for example, if I were to just drag and drop, now exactly this one is lighting, I can just connect here, I can connect there, right? So small things like that as well, it's really nicely done. So yeah, definitely.
My favorite one, Misbah, my favorite one is the collapsible sidebar. If you click on the top left hand side, over
wow.
there, no, yeah.
Oh wow, okay, I didn't even notice that.
You didn't know that, right?
Wow.
And
awesome.
also yeah, and also we have like tab keyboard navigation. So if you click the search bar or just press slash on your keyboard, you can tab. Just tab now, or click one of the models and just tab, and you can navigate and enter and tab, and you can open stuff and navigate through with just your keyboard.
Just that, if you hit space on a component,
okay,
is that space or no? And on the sidebar.
On the sidebar, sorry. Okay.
While you're navigating with your keyboard,
okay,
hit space on any component. Space or enter.
Oh wow.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
It gets added to the.
That's cool. That's cool. I didn't know that one. Okay, so and then Misbah, if you go to the URL, look for the URL component, just to show the tool mode to the folks over here. So if you take a component like the URL, open that up, and then you can activate. So if you do a slight zoom into this component for us to see that better, and then you see it has two types of outputs. It's data and text, right? So if you click the tool mode now, you're going to up there tool mode. Yeah, you're going to see it's available to be connected to the agents, right? So this is the new functionality that all of the components are going to have. And if you want to add tool mode, it's one line of code as well, right? Very easy. If you create your own custom component and you say, I want this component to be feasible and usable in the traditional workflow, great. But I want to add this as a tool to agents as well. Whoa, look at this. You can get that too, right? So you create your own custom component and convert anything into a tool, right? That's very powerful. And then I see, yeah, go ahead.
No, definitely, because I think using anything as a tool really helps, because there are maybe different loaders or different places, the components that was previously you couldn't connect them. So now everything could be used as a tool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see a
and
couple questions.
if you
Yeah.
Go
click
ahead.
on the handles as well, you get a dimmed out version. So maybe click on the output of the URL, for example, any of the outputs.
Okay.
Yeah,
This.
so it dims out every component. So you don't have to hold it.
Ah,
You can,
I
but
see. I see.
click on it just instead of,
So
yeah,
something
like
like.
that. So
Yeah, exactly. No, I
yeah,
really
but
love this.
if you don't, what I mean, you don't have to hold it. If you just click on it,
Ah.
it will filter out the sidebar on
Oh.
components that can connect to it, and
Oh.
blinks makes every output blink to show you what can be connected to it.
Oh, so even on the left side, the sidebar shows things that it can connect.
Yes.
Okay, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So components that have tool as input, that's what shows there, right?
okay. Okay, it makes it really easy, right? So that people can use those. Nice. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
think there should be a place
we
for all
go.
these tips and tricks. Sorry, Rodrigo, go ahead.
And these are small things that in the end you want a lot of interactivity, right? And you have to continue in the flow, trying, experimenting, and again, like iteratively doing what checking the outputs from the model and the behavior and so on. So these are small things that in your day-to-day flow make the entire experience become much better, right? And that together with a playground that shows you everything and the intermediate steps and collapsible reasoning from the model and tool calling and so on, that's very powerful. So I see a couple of questions that I think we can
Sure.
answer right now, and I'm going to start
Yeah.
with this from Francisco. Will Langflow have a classic flow control like if then else and switch statements, right? This one, good one. Actually, we already incorporated if else into the helpers, or I think the category is called flow control, something like that. Take a look. So we have an if else component, and yes, switch statement also coming through. It has conditions based on strings, right? So for example, if the input string contains this element, or if the input string equals something, that is the current paradigm for if else in Langflow. We're adding more types and extending that to the data format as well. So things are coming, like as in the next couple like weeks or months, you're going to see so many more components coming through, and some just improving, not new components. In a lot of cases, it's going to be merging components into more complete components. Right? Then we see another one. I don't know if you want to go through some of these, Misbah,
Yeah, I
but
think we'll
the
keep
one
going
I'm,
through that.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna talk a little bit about how how would look like a workflow that do question moderation before sending the question to the main LLM, right? And I just want to raise a point here that this, to me, this is one of the powers of this kind of platform, which is you have the traditional workflow style, and then after you do your thing or your pre-processing or any linear pipeline, you send it to an agent, right? And let the agent reason, for example, right? And then you can continue a pipeline or do some sort of recurrent thing and move on, right? So I think this is one of the ways. So what exactly moderation means over here, I think it's going to depend on the specifics, but that's definitely feasible in Langflow. I don't know if Gabriel has some points here.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You gotta have an LLM that just parses sort of a pipeline, right? Um, yeah. um, Misbah, I don't know if we have time. Do you want to maybe show the newsletter project you were building, or should we
Yeah, no, I think
share it with the
yeah,
chat?
No, definitely. I'll share the repo as well. I just wanted to show the inner working, how it's done. So it's by one of our colleagues, Edwin, who was generous to help out with the flow and build. So I'll shout out to Edwin if he's also in the live stream. But yeah, I mean, basically you can use Langflow as API and build, powerful front-end applications, and Langflow can handle all of that. So right now I have another, we built something about 2 weeks ago where we generate slides. There, so many requests are happening on the front end, and Langflow handles it easily. And in this particular case, we're using Astra Langflow, so the hosted cloud version that you can use for free. Again, it is something, give it a try. And as Rodrigo mentioned, once you experiment, you build, you learn so many things that are possible now with the new version. So yeah, I think there are a couple more questions here. Can we use Langsmith for a workflow for one particular workflow instead of using for all flows? Is that something, a possibility?
We're trying to explore that right now. There's a PR open adding components for LangWatch, right, which is a similar project. We want to have settings for flows, right? And that's one of them. I talked to a teammate, Italo, this week, and he mentioned specifically that to be able to deactivate or maybe whitelist some components or block some other components from being shown, right, sent to Langsmith. And I think we're now that we're on 1.1, this is where I think we need to explore a bit more, which is settings for each flow, having ways to treat each flow differently, and sort of outside of the flow itself, right? Outside of the component itself, right? We can use that inside of the components, inside the flow, but I think it just adds to the complexity, and sometimes it's not worth it. Maybe we just want to keep the logic tied to the inside of the flow, right? And these kinds of miscellaneous settings, maybe we should put them outside. We're still working on that. We're still deciding what's the best way, right? But it should be going soon. Otherwise, you still have to decide if you want to deactivate on Langflow or activate on Langflow entirely.
Perfect. Cool. So there's one more which I wanted to ask both of you. Is about the upcoming updates. So there's a question, what are the upcoming updates? So what are things that we can, we don't know about and which are exciting? So Gabriel, anything you want to share?
That we don't know about and that haven't talked about
Yeah,
yet.
because I heard some in beta. There are some, exciting features already discussed. Something that, I guess,
Yeah.
maybe making public before before releasing. So
Yeah.
maybe
I think we can. I think we can leak a little bit of the roadmap over here. So let me start, and Gabriel will complement with more deep insights for you. What the priorities right now are probably related to first fit and finish everything that came up with the 1.1, right? So you're gonna see more stability, even more stability, enhanced playground experience, enhanced tool mode experience for visibility, and for example, editing the name and the description of the tools, etc. So we need to fit and finish all that. Right. Then we have a couple of components that are still in beta mode. So we want to take them to the core components, right? That means subflow, for example. Gabriel can talk a little bit about that, but basically you can access another flow within your flow. And then if you can do that, why not just convert another flow into a tool as well? So imagine flows calling other flows as a tool, right? That's getting sort of infinite, right? And then we have other stuff like after working on these components, we have stuff like versioning, right? Component and flow versioning and so on. We're working on a new version of the Langflow marketplace store, right? Which is basically the place where we want everyone to put their components over there, and if these components are versioned, this is going to be much simpler and easy to maintain over time, right? So the store's coming out, and then other features related to simplifying the deployment for everyone. We want one-click deploy. We want to connect this with external integrations where you're just gonna do a click and your entire app is deployed. And then we're listening and assembling some feedback from all of you. So keep sending them. I'll pass it over to Gabriel to give a little bit more on the coming stuff. But I know that so Gabriel has a lot of experience. He shows once in a while that are sort of like out of this world. So you're gonna be impressed for sure.
So the things I can tell, right? We have some experiments around voice mode, right? Using OpenAI with their new real-time API, which is very cool. Was done by Sebastian, one of the great engineers in DataStax. And I spent the morning today talking to him like for hours about this experiment I've been dreaming about for months now, and even Rodrigo had some like tweaks to the idea, and then Italo also has some tweaks, and that it's some sort of I would say a stage builder, right? I don't want to talk a lot more about that because maybe it changes completely to something else. But the idea is you're defining you define an environment, a stage, and then actors, how they will behave in that environment, and maybe a director keeps pointing to whoever should be talking or should be running and all that, right? And we started exploring this idea of theater and stuff like that. So that's why all of it kind of fits this idea of theater, right? And it's pretty cool. It's getting there. It's almost I wouldn't say it's almost done. It's almost ready for the experimental prime time because I did it all yesterday. Right, so there's a lot of experiments to go, but maybe experiments in the like in the hands of the community, they're not dangerous, right? So if maybe people can give feedback and find other show that they are like to use it in some other way that we haven't seen. So all I can say is that because it's like as experimental as it gets, right? So
Yeah, and I wanna poke everyone's imagination with this. Imagine a ChatGPT style platform where instead of having just one AI, you have multiple AIs with different tasks, with different access to tools, and they interact with each other and with you, right? And you are the moderator, you are the or human in the loop, whoever, right? And imagine these systems coordinating and assembling tasks together and being able to perform all sorts of advanced tasks just as humans do, right? This is where we're getting, I think, with this new release 1.1. This is what this new release kicked off, right? And from this point on, I think this is going to get insane. So this is, in my opinion, the greatest and most impactful release so far, and so proud that we achieved that point.
Amazing. Yeah, we're almost close to, or probably just across the hour mark. So there are many more questions. I would suggest all the folks to perhaps reach out to us on Discord. Discord have thousands of users, and we're active over there. The whole community is engaging over there. So definitely do join the Discord server, and you can find the link to that on the website. So if you were to visit langflow.org, you'll find those links. The repo got, as Gabriel mentioned, we are achieving milestones on the stars, so people are loving it. We really appreciate. If you haven't checked the repo and haven't started, you can just click the button at the bottom, which it says start our repo, and then you can start and show love for the open source community. And then in addition to that, there are super exciting things coming along if you are part of an organization, institution, university, or company, and you would like to test out, and see and how it works out, there are many different versions. Easy one is you can just go to Astra DataStax. It's available. You just log in, and then you can start building and playing with it. We always love to hear from people what you're building. So many prestigious organizations, universities have reached out saying that they're building such and such thing. So if you do have a use case along those lines, do let us know. Do let the community know in Discord. Would love to hear that. And if you need any help with that, our team is always there to help you. This was really exciting, amazing. The number of features and the possibilities with this version, it's just astronomical. So give it a try, everyone. Thank you so much, Gabriel and Rodrigo. This was really nice session. Loved it. And we would love to have more of both of you and talking through some additional exciting things in the future.
Awesome.
And we're excited to
Thank
hear
you,
from
Misbah.
Excited to hear from everyone, the use cases that they're building, the suggestions you have. Join the Discord channel. Just linked our LinkedIn over there. Gabriel can place his own as well. Reach out, get in touch. We want to hear the use cases that you are building, and we want to help you. We are informally helping so many people across the globe, and we want to do that with your use cases and understand how Langflow can adapt to become this tool that will fit your needs perfectly. Right? Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you both. And
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone, again. Take care. You all have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, in whichever part of the world you're joining from. Take care. Goodbye.
Thank you all.
Take care, everyone. Bye.